the ASUG News studio sponsored by NTT Data. And I'm here with Dr. Werner Hopf of Dolphin. He's the CEO of Dolphin. In the last few years in particular, we've heard that the volume of data in this world is just exploding. I heard a stat this morning that 90% of the data today has been created in the last 2 years. And I couldn't think of a better person to address this challenge here with us today. Dolphin specializes in business performance improvement, and today we're going to talk a little bit about data volume management. Werner, so why is this such a big problem, and how does it differ from archiving in general?
Well, let's look at the data volume challenge first. You heard that statistic, 90% of the data had been created just in the last 2 years. And we think that's just the beginning. If you look at the business transformations going on, driven by mobile, social, cloud, pervasive information, put Internet of Things on top of that, it will be an pretty much exponential growth of data over a foreseeable time period. And IT will be able, or has to be able, to manage that data in order to control cost and keep performance up.
So we're really talking about something different than data archiving here though, right?
Yeah, data archiving traditionally was more seen as keep data online as long as you need it and then file it away just for regulatory purposes and for your retention requirement. What data volume management really means is to move the data to the right location over its life cycle depending on usage patterns. So it's not just wait until you don't need it anymore, but keep it online for a short period, move it nearline while you still need it, but maybe not as frequently anymore, and then move it to a long-term repository.
Now, Dolphin specializes in SAP in particular. You yourself have over 14 years of experience just with SAP archiving. In the context of an SAP strategy, how does data volume management apply?
Well, if you look at the SAP system landscape, the typical systems where you have a lot of data is obviously Business Suite and BW. So those are the core environments we have to focus on. And of course, every company is no different. You have organizations that run SAP as a backend system to a web-based store with billions and billions of transactions. You obviously have much shorter online, or the potential to keep data shorter in those environments than in a, let's say, traditional manufacturing organization. Or if you look at packaged consumer goods, for example, you see a clear trend to go from a wholesale to a direct store delivery model, creating a lot more data. So those are the areas that really drive the data volume management implementations.
Okay, so when we talk about data volume management, we have to bring up our favorite piece of SAP software,
yeah.
SAP HANA. So how does this apply for customers looking at that, and how does it set you up for a HANA strategy?
HANA, first of all, what it basically does, it extends out the performance to much greater volumes of data. It's capable of processing and analyzing massive amounts of data very, very quickly. But it's doing that by pulling everything in memory. So the cost of maintaining that large amount of information goes up fairly dramatically. So what we see with HANA is that companies really need a strategy where they are very focused on analyzing exactly what needs to stay in memory in HANA, and then move everything else into a nearline environment while keeping it accessible, so it's completely transparent to the consumer of the information.
So how do you start with that? Do you pick out a particular process, and what stakeholders do you get involved?
It's always a good start to look at the historic patterns of your data, how data is created, how data is consumed, and you obviously want to focus on the heavy hitters, address those first. Dolphin this week is introducing a new product for that that will allow customers to go through that analysis phase very, very quickly and with little effort in a very automated way. So that gives you the information on how to start and which areas to focus on.
That's great. And one of the last points I'd like to get your opinion on here is how you sustain excitement for this longer term.
Well, it's always difficult to sustain excitement for that, so you have to make sure you satisfy all the constituents in the organization. Most importantly, the users of the data. If they are severely impacted, what you're doing with your data volume management strategy, you never get any agreement on that. So we have to make sure that we satisfy their requirement, give them transparent access, and then you want to make it easy for the technical team to keep going with data volume management, so we want to automate a lot for those repetitive processes.
Werner, great information here today. Thank you so much. For more customer stories, please tune to asugnews.com. Thanks for watching.